Suspects are facing criminal charges after Ohio authorities say they found 16 children living in horrific conditions. The children range in age from 1.5 to 18. Officials say they were in dire need of medical treatment, and Ohio's Attorney General calls it the worst scene he's ever encountered and pure evil. Now, the suspects have pleaded not guilty. Let's bring in ABC legal analyst Brian Buckmeyer for more on this case. Brian, we don't have a ton of details here, but what stands out to you on this case so far?
The amount of children in a home that is, by our accounts, 1,300 square feet, 20 people living here, and not one or two, but 4 adults. And while they haven't released the relationship between the defendants and those of the minors inside of the home, this is peculiar to me in the sense of what were the red flags that were missed, what was going on in this home, and the charges as well. There's 17 so far. They seem to be child endangerment charges, the one being more serious than the rest because of the serious injuries, but the lack of information is what sticks out to me, and I hope we learn more as we go on.
And I'm curious about that because they've given these sparing details, right? We have the names of all the suspects. They all have the same last name, but they haven't said if they're related to each other and if they're related to the kids. They're describing these horrific conditions, but they haven't said what they actually were, what the suspects are actually accused of doing, aside from child endangerment. And then they say that they weren't locals, that they appeared to be traveling, but that this isn't a human trafficking case.
Yes, there's a lot of things to put together. So same names, yes, people can all be Smiths or, in this case, Siders, but I tend to believe that they're related because as I look at it here now, and I look at their mugshots, Gary Sider Sr. and Gary Sider Jr., that suggests to me that one is the father of the other. To all adults, it seems like even the junior and the other Sider, Elizabeth Sider, seem to be older adults in the sense that we see a picture here of them, some in their late 20s or 30s. But not having extreme details about the children makes sense to me because of HIPAA rules, as well as rules about giving information to the public about minors. I think as we learn more, we hear about their injuries, both the nature of the charges, that I've seen allegations of serious physical injury there, as well as some of the information given in witness might give us more. But it could be a matter of neglect, not giving them care, not giving them medicine, not giving them food, or it could be like affirmative harm in terms of actually hitting them. And we'll hopefully find out more as this case goes on.
What are you watching for now that they've pleaded not guilty?
The medical aspect of this all. How are these children treated? What were they treated for? How long were they not given sustenance? How long were they not given medical care? What was the neglect? Because what the neglect is and the level of that neglect is going to tell us a lot about this case. And also, it's going to come down to who is going to talk first. At some point in time, I think one of these 4 defendants is going to say, I had very little to do with this. I didn't know what was completely going on. I wasn't in charge of these children. I want to know what the relationship of the children are. And who's going to come forward first and say, I will speak about what happened in this home so I can get a better deal. That's going to be our greatest glimpse into what happened in that home.
All right, Brian Buckmeyer, thank you.
Details, but there's 2 words that investigators keep using, and that's pure evil. And it's because they saw what was inside this house. They're describing what they saw inside this rural home. 16 children in deplorable conditions, in dire need of medical treatment. And now 4 suspects are being charged with 16 counts each, all 4 pleading not guilty. The Ohio Attorney General gave us an update on the case just about an hour ago.
I've done these types of cases for a long time. I've been in incredibly poverty-stricken areas in the inner city. I've been in poverty-stricken areas in rural Ohio, and I've just never seen anything like I saw today.
Joining me now is Alex Perche and our legal analyst, Brian Buckmeyer. And if you don't mind, guys, if we have the picture of the 4 suspects, because one of the most important things that investigators are trying to do right now is to get any information on these 4 people. This is the Siders family. You've got Elizabeth Siders there with the long dark hair in the corner. Next to her is Gary Siders Sr. Then Christina Siders is the older woman at the top of your screen, and then the younger man is Gary Siders Jr. These are the 4 people that have been arrested. These are the 4 people that the AG and the prosecutor describe as pure evil. They're not going to get anywhere near those 16 children. That's what we're learning now, because they are in police custody, all of them being evaluated and checked out. And one of the most disturbing things that the sheriff said, he has seen his livestock treated better than these 16 children. They were found in a 12 by 12 space, surrounded by human feces. He said it was just disgusting. Both of whom, the sheriff And also, the Attorney General said they've never seen anything like this in their life. Alex Prochet, the details are horrifying. One thing that did stand out to me, though, the sheriff saying the only joy that we're seeing in this is that we're going to change 16 lives for the better.
Hello and welcome to The Tracy Show. It is Tracy with an I, not with the Y. Yes, you are listening to a very disturbing, disgusting, horrific story. 16 juveniles rescued from Vinton County home. You heard of the deplorable living conditions. Since this is breaking news, there is a brief article on this, and I will share it with you all. But in the meantime and in between time, I need you to like, subscribe, get your thoughts together to put in the comment section. Hit that post notification bell. Everything I'm asking is free to keep me in the algorithm. Before I read the article, I want to continue with this news break.
Yeah, and listen, I mean that's the only place to kind of go from here if you're law enforcement. But as you mentioned, Kieran, this is something that Ohio authorities have called unimaginable. We heard from the state attorney general Andy Wilson, who said this looked like a third world country, that he can't get the smell out of his head. And as you mentioned, the sheriff there for Vinton County said that he had seen livestock kept in better condition than the children inside of those houses, but 16 of them inside. They range in ages from 18 months to 18 years old. They were largely kept in that 12 by 12 area. And we're also told that this is an interfamilial situation. It's not a human trafficking case, according to law enforcement. But 7 of those children had to be taken to Columbus area hospitals. 2 of them were airlifted, and at least 1 child had to be intubated. Police say they actually stumbled upon this situation. They were executing a search warrant in a parallel investigation when they found this house with all those children inside. And as you mentioned, the 4 individuals, Gary Siders Sr., Gary Siders Jr., Christina Siders, and Elizabeth Siders, have all pleaded not guilty to the 16 counts against them. And now, Kira, those children are in the process of being placed. And the sheriff says timing was of the essence here, because had they waited another 24 hours, they would likely be dealing with a death.
Disgusting. 4 people have been charged with CHILD endangerment after 16 CHILDREN were removed from a home in Ohio where officials say they were living in deplorable conditions. Ugh. Look at Grandpa. Just disgusting. He looked like he stank. Authorities executed a search warrant at the home in Hamden in Vinton County on Tuesday, where they say they found the juveniles and 4 suspects inside. What are you doing with 16 juveniles inside? That is 20 people living inside that cottage. Ohio Attorney General Andy Wilson said the evidence in the case is beyond comprehension. Quote, I think if they would have waited another 24 hours, that there was a very high probability that we'd be dealing with a death or multiple deaths of these juveniles, he said during a press briefing on Wednesday. Oh my gosh, how did this happen? How? Vinton County Prosecutor William Archer said this is not a case of human trafficking, but an intra-family situation. He described the suspects as being the grandma, grandpa, father, and mother during Wednesday's press briefing. What? The grandpa, the grandma, the father, and the mother? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The 4 suspects, Gary Siders Sr., 73, Christina Siders, 67, Gary Siders II, 36, and Elizabeth Siders, 33. Each have been charged with 16 counts of endangering juveniles. This is crazy. This is crazy. It just gets crazier and crazier every single day. A second-degree felony. No, this should be first. This should be first. Juveniles off the table. Stop it. This should be first, according to officials. They pleaded not guilty during the arraignment which I did see today, Wednesday morning, and their bond was set at only $300,000 each. $300,000 each. What? No, that's not high enough. That's not high enough. Each should be at least $1 million or $2 million. They will likely request court-appointed counsel, officials said. The charges allege the 4 suspects abused the juveniles, resulting in serious physical harm. The juveniles range in age from 1.5 to 18, according to Wilson. He did not go into the nature of the injuries, but said 7 of the juveniles were transported in the hospital on Tuesday, including 2 who were airlifted there. 1 of the juveniles was in critical condition, Wilson said. Another said the children are safe and officials are working to have them placed in temporary custody. Quote, they are currently in a good situation and are being protected, he said. What? What? A good situation? Do you know how much mental work has been done? Oh my gosh. This is not a good situation. No. Oh my gosh. Oh, I can't stand when there are juveniles involved. I can't stand it. This old country family lived in Vinton County for the past 4 years and were clearly bouncing around, according to Wilson. Quote, they were pretty adept at keeping these kids out of sight and out of investigative eyes, he said. Wait, if you got it, they range from so little to like 18. So 15, 18, 14, 13, 12, they were able to keep those out of people's eye search. The children were not enrolled in school, according to Wilson. The eldest child is included among the charges because the 18-year-old is believed to developmentally still be a minor, officials said. Quote, some of these children couldn't even speak. It was terrible. $300,000 is not enough because when you look at it, it's only $30,000. And 30, let me see, times 4, that's 120. That's only $120,000 for 4 of them. Absolutely not. No. They each need $1 million or $2 million. Disgusting. Vinton County Sheriff Ryan Kane described the condition of the house as disgusting. Just what I said. Including the presence of human feces, and said the children were largely confined to a small area. Quote, most of our livestock is kept in better condition than the juveniles, Kane said during Wednesday's briefing. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine called the situation tragic. Quote, it is heartbreaking to learn the conditions that these children were living in and to learn of their medical conditions, DeWine said in a statement, which also thanked those helping them. Lord, please keep these juveniles safe. Everyone, prayers up for all 16, and that these 4 get what they deserve. I would play the arraignment, but it makes the video too long, and I know a lot of us get a little short attention span, but I may put it on a second video. So you guys do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, comment, and let me know your thoughts and opinions of this nasty, demonic, devilish demons. Oh, disgusting. 16. What? I'm gonna stay close on this because no. Y'all like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the post notification bell for whenever I upload or go live. Whew. Crazy world. Crazy.